Tacking a full rigger is the most intricate of the more common manoeuvres. The idea is to swing her around from sailing close-hauled on one bow to sailing close-hauled on the other bow by coming up against and through the wind. The obvious advantage of tacking as opposed to wearing is that very little seaway to windward is lost. In the manoeuvre shown here, the wind blows from the starboard side. It looks like this. The spanker is hauled amidships, increasing the wind pressure aft. At the same time, starboard helm is given. As a result, the ship will alter her heading to starboard. As soon as the royals and topgallants start luffing, that is, start quivering or to live, the headsail sheets as well as the fore-course sheet are slacked off, or even let go. Once the wind stops filling the spanker, the main and mizzen yards are braced around. The sails on the foremast, being aback, will push the bow around to starboard. The sails aft, as well as the rudder, will turn the stern over to port as the vessel begins to move astern. As soon as the sails on main and mizzen begin to fill on the other tack, the foremast is braced around, and the ship begins to make headway again. The spanker sheet can now be eased off, and the mainsail be set again. The main commands during a tacking manoeuvre are these: clew up the mainsail, ready about, haul up the spanker, slack off the headsail sheets, aft let go, brace round forward, and ease out the spanker. While the manoeuvre is being prepared, a course full and by is held, falling off half a point or so for maximum initial speed. The braces on the leeward side are flaked down on deck and belayed at their full and by marks, ready to let go. The mainsail is clewed up, and when everything is ready, command is ready about, the manoeuvre is commenced by hauling in the spanker sheet until the spanker boom is amidships. The proper command is haul up the spanker. The helm is turned to starboard 10 to 15 degrees, and the ship begins to turn into the wind. As the royal and topgallants come parallel to the wind direction, they start to vibrate. The command, slack off headsail sheets, sounds, and both the sheets of the headsails and the forecourse are slacked off to further reduce the effective sail area forward. The effect is usually well audible as the sails flap quite violently, but they will not keep the bow from swinging to windward. At the same time, as the ship loses speed, the helm is laid further to starboard. The crew is standing by at the weather braces because as soon as the wind comes in from about 15 degrees forward and ceases to fill the spanker, it's time to brace round the main and mizzen yards. If the timing is right, the wind pressing the yards aft on the starboard side will help considerably. The stern will swing to port, and the yards on the foremast will push the bow over to starboard. The command to start all this is aft let go. The main and mizzen lee braces are cast off and are run out quite fast as the wind swings the now freed yards around. Ideally, the bracing is done with little effort, so that all the crew on the weather braces needs to do is to haul in the slack. With the headwind and the tops braced aback as shown here, the sails on the foretop will push the bow to starboard. As the bow points directly to windward, the headsails are sheeted home on the other side. By this time, the ship will be making no headway, so the helm is laid amidships, or, if she's moving abaft, counter rudder is given. With the wind well in from the port side, the ship will be drifting to leeward, but with the headsails pulling and the squaresails on the foremast still aback, she continues to fall off. Once the wind comes in from about 60 to 70 degrees, the sails on the main and mizzen begin to fill. Now the command, brace round forward, is given. The port forebraces are let go, and the crew hauls the starboard forebraces. Together with this, the sheets and tacks of the forecourse have to be tended. The foretack may be quite hard to pull, but only a few men are needed if the capstan is used. With all squaresails pulling again on the new tack, the ship gains headway almost immediately. What remains is to slack off the spanker sheet on the command, ease out the spanker. The yards and sails must be trimmed, and of course, set the mainsail. Let's sum up. To facilitate the manoeuvre, the mainsail is clewed up. The manoeuvre proper is commenced by hauling the spanker boom amidships, thereby increasing the windage aft, giving weather helm, and slacking off the headsail sheets to reduce windage forward. Once the spanker is off the wind, the main and mizzen yards are swung around. When the wind comes in from the other side, and the sails on main and mizzen begin to fill again, and the foresails are braced around. This done, the ship is roughly on course, the spanker is eased off, and the mainsail is set again. If the sea is too rough, or the wind too calm for tacking, the ship has to wear to come about. In wearing, we let the ship fall off until the wind is directly astern, and then luff until she is close hauled, or by the wind, on the opposite side. In this example, the wind is on the port side. The manoeuvre goes like this. The mainsail is clewed up, and the spanker is brailed up to ease the pressure aft. Then the main and mizzen tops are braced until the sails luff. When the wind is at 45 degrees to the stern, the main and spanker braces are hauled to their marks. The main and mizzen tops begin to fill and push the stern to port. When the wind is directly astern, the foretop is braced around. The mainsail is set when the wind is on the starboard quarter, and the spanker is set to increase pressure on the stern. The important commands for wearing